Hi, welcome to my channel Cloud with Girish. In the previous video workshop, I explained the use of CloudWatch and CloudTrail for logging, monitoring, alarming, and auditing. If you missed it, be sure to check out the tutorial linked in the description before continuing. In this video, I will discuss how to aggregate logs for multiple Lambda functions in one CloudWatch custom log group. By default, Lambda functions create individual log group. This works fine for isolated function, but if you have multiple Lambda functions supporting a feature, it may be desirable to have a single log group where all these functions log their output, simplifying monitoring and troubleshooting. In this workshop, we will walk through how to set up and configure two AWS Lambda functions. I'll name them as HelloWorld1 and HelloWorld2 to publish their log to a custom CloudWatch log group, enabling centralized log aggregation. We will then use Log Insight to review logs in one place, making it easier to analyze functions' behaviors and events together. Let's look at a simple architecture diagram. So we have two views here. The first one is actually showing the default log group. So let's say you have two Lambda functions. They both will create their own CloudWatch log group. So if my first function is HelloWorld1, then there will be a CloudWatch group called HelloWorld1, and then there will be another one for HelloWorld2. But I can create a custom log group and I can direct the logging of both the functions to one CloudWatch log group, and that's what we're gonna configure in this workshop. Prerequisite for this is familiarity with AWS console, AWS account with permission to create and configure Lambda function and the log groups and Log Insight, basic understanding of Lambda function and CloudWatch, and again, if you have missed the prior workshop, the logging, monitoring, auditing with CloudWatch and CloudTrail, then please look at this workshop, link is in the description. Let's get started. We're going to create a custom CloudWatch log group. I'll create a Lambda function, HelloWorld1. Then I will configure the logging to custom log group for this function. I will create a second Lambda function, HelloWorld2, and then I'll configure the logging for this also. And then eventually we'll analyze the log with the CloudWatch Log Insight. And at the end, I'll do a cleanup just so we don't incur the cost. So I'll delete the custom log group and functions created for this. So let's start with the first step, navigate to the CloudWatch console, and then in the AWS management console, open the CloudWatch. We'll create a log group first. So I'm going to create a log group in the log group section, select the create log group, and I'm going to name the log group as AWS Lambda / custom log group GB. You can name it anything. I'm just following the standard naming convention that typically CloudWatch has for the Lambda function, which is AWS Lambda log group name. I can pick the retention. I have like multiple options here, but I'm going to configure it for retention time to 5 days. So after that, it automatically delete older log, ensuring manageable log storage. And then I will confirm the settings to create the log group. Now I have my log group. So the next step is to create my first Lambda function, which is HelloWorld1. So I'll go to the Lambda console, select create function and name it HelloWorld1. And then select the runtime as Python 3.1.2 should work. And then define the function code. I have the sample code here. So let's just take that. It's a very simple code. I'm importing the JSON package. I'm importing the logging package. And then I'm creating a logger. And I'm printing a log like hello from HelloWorld1. And that's my first function. Now, once I have the function, by default, it will direct the log to its own created log group, but I don't want that. I want to change the log group. So in the same function, under the monitoring and operational tools, I'm going to edit the function configuration and I'm going to update the log group. So here I'm going to say, hey, use the log group, the custom log group that I have created, and I'm going to select that log group here. So now this function will use the custom log group that I have created, which is custom log group GB. So all the logs from this function should go in this log group. Let's validate that logs are actually going in this log group just to make sure. So I'm gonna test the function using the test button, and then just invoke it basically. And really this function is not doing much, so all it will say is that hello world from HelloWorld1 Lambda. And then if I go to my custom log group and I look at the log stream, then if I see this message hello from world1, which is basically in my function, that means that my custom log group is being used by this function. So at this point, I'm ready to create my second Lambda function. So I'm going to name it as HelloWorld2. Same drill really, follow the same process, name the function as HelloWorld2, and then we're going to configure the log group the same way as we did before. And I'm going to point it to the same custom log group that I have pointed the previous function to. And it's the same code. I'll just update the code to say like HelloWorld2 instead of HelloWorld1, but it's really the same code that I used in the previous function here. So I'm just going to change the message to hello from HelloWorld2. So really the same code for both the function. So now let's validate that HelloWorld2 is also publishing the log to this function, and it is. So now we are ready to analyze the log using the another feature of CloudWatch, which is log insight. So these both functions are configured. They are using the same log group, and then we have this feature called log insight. So I can open, like if I go to my CloudWatch console and select the log insight, which is an option here on the nav menu, then I can run the query of my choice. AWS Management Console has several examples query. You can build your own. I just picked up the one of the sample query, which is simply gonna show me all the logs, and I'm limiting it to 10 because that should serve my purpose. Alternatively, I can change this query and say, hey, just filter the message which are like hello from hello world, and that should get only the message which has like HelloWorld1, HelloWorld2, and so on, right? And then I can sort it by timestamp, description, and all, right? So this is really like very helpful because now all my logs are in one custom log group. So rather than going in like multiple log group and tracking it individually, I have aggregated all the logs in this one function. So very helpful. And this is how, like, you know, the example log look like when I'm running that query for log insight. So if you see here, I'm getting all these logs from HelloWorld2, but I'm also getting the log from HelloWorld1. So like if I have a, like I said in the beginning, that if I have a feature which is supported by multiple Lambda function, then it becomes very helpful because now I can track all my logging in one place. So I have log from all these functions here. So in this tutorial, we demonstrated how to aggregate logs from multiple Lambda function into a single CloudWatch custom log group. By using a shared log group and querying capabilities in log insight, you can simplify log management and gain insight across functions in a streamlined way. This approach is particularly valuable when managing microservices or event-driven architecture, as it allows centralized access and analysis for better monitoring and troubleshooting. With this setup, you are ready to monitor multiple Lambda functions effectively in AWS. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm constantly working on new content covering various AWS topics, so please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the Cloud with Greece channel. Your support helps me continue creating valuable AWS tutorial and workshop. Stay tuned for more exciting content. Thank you.